Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope my videos are useful for the students. So, in today's video, we are going to discuss about John Donne, a metaphysical poet. John Donne from 1572 to 1631. His century age was also known as Jacobean and Caroline age. His genre was satire, love poetry, elegy, sermons. John Donne is one of the most famous poets and he is a metaphysical poet. The word meta means after, so the literal translation is after the physical. Metaphysical deals with questions that cannot be explained by science. It questions the nature of reality. So, John Donne was an English poet, scholar, soldier and secretary born into a Catholic family. स्टूडेंट्स, जब भी आप किसी राइटर के बारे में पढ़ रहे हो या उसके बारे में आंसर्स कर रहे हो तो हमें कुछ छोटे छोटे पॉइंट्स ज़रूर मेंशन करने चाहिए, जैसे उनकी लाइफ, उनके जोनरा के बारे में स्पेशली मेंशन करना चाहिए, उनके जो एजुकेशन है उसके बारे में ये सारी चीज़ें मेंशन करनी चाहिए. एंड जब भी आप किसी वर्क के बारे में आंसर कर रहे हो तो साइमल्टेनियसली आप एक दो एक्स्ट्रा वर्क भी उसमें डिस्कस कर सकते हो. 2 to 4 लाइन्स के 2-3 वर्क्स पे डिस्कस कर सकते हो. इससे आपको उस राइटर की 2-3 अलग अलग वर्क्स की अलग अलग चीज़ें पता चलती हैं. सो बेसिकली इस वीडियो में हम जॉन डन के बर्थ, एजुकेशन, पर्सनालिटी एंड बैकग्राउंड, मेटाफिजिकल पोएट्री एंड मेटाफिजिकल कंसीट्स के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड आगे हम इनके एक पोएम डेट नॉट बी प्राउड इसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे. John Donne was born in 22nd January 1572. His name was pronounced as if spelled Donne. His father was an ironmonger. Donne's mother was a Roman Catholic. In 1583, at the age of 11, he began to study at Hart Hall, now Hertford College, Oxford. After 3 years of studies there, Donne was admitted to the University of Cambridge. And in 1596, he served as a volunteer in the expedition to Cadiz, and next year he went to the Azores, on each occasion being accompanied by Sir Henry Wotton. On the second of these voyages, they made friends with Sir Thomas Egerton the Younger, to whom Donne later owed his appointment as private secretary to his father, Sir Thomas Egerton the Elder, who had been appointed Lord Keeper in 1596. So here we start again. The next one, personality and background. The personality of John Donne raises the question of his being a cynic and of his being a lover of the most licentious kind. Donne was witty, complex, original and strong. His poetry ranges from the highly passionate words of his youth to the measured grandeur of his sermons. Donne was affected by philosophy, religion and theology. Donne was very well read. Besides being a master of theology, he was possessed of the new philosophy and other rationalistic developments. His eyes were immensely attractive. He was a dynamic personality. In his old age, Donne transformed his vision completely. The sensual Donne became the ecclesiastical personage who was purifying his soul and correcting his habits by strong devotion, hard work, mercy and sympathy for the poor and the downtrodden. He became, as Isaac Walton said, the Messiah of mercy in his old age. The next one, metaphysical poetry. Metaphysical poetry was a revolt against the contemporary fashion of poetry. It intellectualized the prevailing religious spirit and revolt against the Renaissance softness, smoothness, and sweet expression. The style of metaphysical poetry is passionately urban, harsh, and hard surface and granite. The metaphysical poets use contemporary language. The so-called poetic words are avoided. Their rhythm is as intricate as their thought. It is a stimulant, not a narcotic, to the intellect. Metaphysical poetry is largely lyrical. In subject matter, it is religious or amatory. Metaphysical poetry is analytical. It is also concerned with psychological subtleties and complexities. It explored the remote aspects of human consciousness. Elizabethan poetry played with words, but the main preoccupation there is with thoughts. It drew inspiration from the formal philosophies and philosophy of scholasticism and the new science. Metaphysical poets were men of learning, and to show their learning was their whole endeavor, said Dr. Johnson. In metaphysical poetry, says Mrs. Bennet, emotions are shaped and expressed by logical reasoning, and both sound and picture are subservient to this end. So move on to the next. It's a metaphysical conceits. Donne is a metaphysical poet because of his inherent sensibility, the ambivalent nature of his experience, and his passionate apprehension of thought. Dryden and Johnson apply the term metaphysical to Donne's imagery. The quality of a poem depends upon the quality of the imagery. Now the poem starts, "That Not Be Proud." "That Not Be Proud" is one of the most important sonnet of holy sonnets of John Donne. The sonnet, which is addressed to death, is the most unconventional case that Donne has taken in his hand. In this poem, Donne openly flaunts the vain claim of death that it is a destroyer. Death is generally supposed to be strong and dreadful, but in reality, it has nothing to be proud of. The very opening lines are a bold defiance to the dread of death. "That be not proud, though some have called thee might and dreadful, for thou art not so." So बेसिकली आप इस पोएम से ये समझ सकते हो कि यहाँ पे जॉन डन ने कहा है दैट बी नॉट प्राउड, डेथ को प्राउड फील नहीं करना चाहिए। जब तक इंसान नहीं चाहता, जब तक किस्मत नहीं चाहती, तब तक डेथ नहीं आ सकता। तो डेथ से लोग जो इतना डरते हैं, फियर होते हैं, ड्रेडफुल होते हैं, तो इंसान को वो चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए। फॉर दोज whom thou think it's thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure, then from thee much more must flow. So, that gives a way to eternal life, a kind of freedom from the worldly sorrow. The speaker says that death is just like a sound sleep from which we will awake at the day of judgment. So, and sonnets our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and those with poison, war, and sickness dwell. So basically यहाँ पे डन कह रहे हैं डेथ इज अ स्लेव टू फेट एंड चांस. डेथ फेट एंड चांस का स्लेव है. जब तक किस्मत नहीं चाहती, जब तक चांस नहीं आता, तब तक डेथ कुछ नहीं कर सकता. इट इज नॉट लाइक अ माइटी किंग बट अ रेज्ड स्लेव. ये कोई भी किंग नहीं है बल्कि एक रेज्ड स्लेव है. इट ओबेज द कमांड ऑफ चांस, kings, wicked murderers, poison, war, order, old age and sickness. ये इन चीज़ों की कमांड्स पे ही चलती है. डेथ इन चीज़ों के कमांड्स पे ही चलती है. फेट, चांस, पॉइजन, या फिर किसी का ओल्ड एज होने के बाद, या फिर कोई बहुत बीमार रहते हैं तब, इन सब चीज़ों पे डेथ चलती है. जब तक ये सारी चीज़ें नहीं चाहती, डेथ किसी के आसपास नहीं आ सकते. Therefore, it cannot be regarded as glorious in any way. As a matter of fact, opium or similar other intoxicants supposed to possess magical properties, and poppy or charms can make us sleep as well. And better than thy stroke, why swellest thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death thou shall die. इसका कहने का मतलब है जब किसी की डेथ हो जाती है तब जनरली हम लोग कहते हैं कि अलग दुनिया में पहुंच जाते हैं. तो यहाँ पे भी कुछ ऐसा ही कहा जा रहा है. जब किसी की डेथ हो जाती है तो उनकी जो सोल होती है वो एटर्नल हो जाती है, अमर हो जाती है. अब उनकी सोल को कोई नहीं मार सकता. डेथ हो जाने के बाद जो आदमी स्लीप में चले जाते हैं, उसके बाद जब वो अवेक होते हैं, जब वो जगते हैं, तो वो बहुत एक ब्यूटीफुल लाइफ में होते हैं जहाँ पे उनको कोई नहीं मार सकता. बिकॉज दैट डाइज ऑन दैट वेरी डे, एज आफ्टर द डे ऑफ जजमेंट ए पर्सन गोज आइदर टू हेल और हेवन, बोथ ऑफ विच डोंट हैव डेथ. So there is no reason to fear death, and death too should not feel proud of himself. So basically यहाँ पे यही कहा जा रहा है कि until unless chance, fate, poison, old age, sickness नहीं आता, death नहीं आ सकती. तो डेथ को इतना प्राउड नहीं फील करना चाहिए और लोगों को उससे डरने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. So that's it for this video lecture. Thank you everyone.